Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new video. I hope you are doing well, and then I hope your learning journey is also improved. Now, in this video, we're looking at addition and subtraction of fractions. We learned all about fractions, and now we want to learn how to add and subtract them. If this is your first time here, this is Hub Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. If you've not gone through the playlist or the videos in this playlist, it's a good time you go through them so that you become familiar with all you need to know under fraction, especially for the basic level before you come to this video. And I think it will be very, very helpful. So without saying much, let's quickly go into addition and subtraction of fractions. Now, when we want to add fractions, there are two types of fractions I would like us to look at. The first is like fractions. So let's look at addition of like fractions, after which we'll then come to addition and subtraction of unlike fractions. So with like fractions, we said in our previous video that like fractions are fractions with the same denominator. Like fractions are fractions with the same what? Denominator. So if you want to add and subtract like fractions, it is very easy. All we do is to deal with whatever we have as the numerators. Let's take some example to illustrate what we are talking about. So if you want to add, let's say 1 over 4, you want to add 1 over 4 to 3 over 4. You see, these two fractions here are like fractions. So if you want to add them, we just go straight forward. So for 1 over 4 plus 3 over 4, since the denominators are the same, we just write just one of them and then add the numerator, this numerator to this numerator. That is 1 plus 3. And we know 1 plus 3 gives us what? A 4, which we have 4 over 4. And we should now simplify. So 4 over 4 simply gives us 1. That is how easy addition of like fraction can be. Let's take another example. We have to evaluate. We have 3 over 6 plus 2 over 6 plus 4 over 6 and then plus 1 over 6. So for these fractions here, we want to do what? Evaluate them. How is it going to be? So we have 3 over 6 plus 2 over 6 plus 4 over 6 and then plus 1 over 6. If we add them together, because they already have the same denominator, all we want to do is to add the numerators. And that is 3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1. 3 plus 2 gives us a 5. 5 plus 4 gives us a 9. And then 9 plus 1 gives us what? 10. So we have 10 over 6. You see? Then at this point, we choose to simplify. This here, if we want to simplify to its simplest form, we are going to get 2 dividing 10 to give us what? 5. And 2 divide 6 on the other hand to give us 3. This can also be written as improper fraction. This can also be written as a mixed fraction. That gives us what? 3 divides 5 how many times? We have 1 time, and that 2 over 3. You can look through the playlist where we have treated how to change improper fractions to mixed fractions, and I think you'd be good to go. Let's do one last operation on addition and subtraction of like fractions, and then we look at that which involves unlike fractions. So simplify the following. So as you can see this example here, we have to simplify 3 over 7 plus 1 over 7 minus 6 over 7 plus 2 over 7 minus 4 over 7. Once again, looking at the denominator, we can see that they are all like fractions. Hence, how do we evaluate? So 3 over 7 plus 1 over 7 minus 6 over 7 plus 2 over 7 minus 4 over 7. Our LCM gives us 7. You see? And 7 divides 7 once. 1 times 3, we have our 3. 7 divides 7 also once. 1 times 1, we have 1. 7 divides 7 once. 1 times 6, we have our minus 6. Right? you can see that 7 is just dividing 7 just once. So let's just evaluate the numerator. So 3 plus 1 minus 6 plus 2 minus 4. 3 plus 1 gives us a 4. 4 minus 6, that gives us negative 2. Negative 2 plus 2 gives us 0. Then we have negative 4 over here. So negative 4 all on 7. That is our final answer. So as you have seen, addition and subtraction of like fraction can be very, very easy. Hence, let's look at how we add and subtract unlike fractions. How do we add and subtract unlike fractions? So addition and subtraction of unlike fractions. Before we begin, if we say unlike fractions, what do we mean? They are simply fractions with different denominators. They are fractions with different denominators, and we really need to take care when we are adding and subtracting them. There are some steps we would outline so that we follow. So first of all, if you want to add and subtract unlike fractions, you have to find the LCM. Then secondly, we have to convert all the fractions into their equivalent forms with respect to the LCM being the denominators. So we convert all the fractions and then we now perform our operation. So our addition and subtraction we want to do. After finding the LCM and converting our fractions, we perform the operations. Then finally, after doing our addition and subtraction, we now simplify. So we simplify if the need be. So we simplify if the need be. So let's take some examples to illustrate what we have done there. Now add 2 over 3 and 5 over 6. So we have 2 over 3 and then 5 on 6. We want the LCM of 3 and then 6. Now what do you think that is going to be? The lowest common multiple of 3 and 6, it is. What do you think it is? Pause and then type it at the comment section. So first of all, for this first one, I will take us through the steps. Then after which you would do them yourself. So for 3, what are some of the multiples of 3? We have 3, 6, and then 9, and it goes on and on and on. Now what of 6? So for 6, what are some of its multiples? We have 6 itself, 12, 18, and then it also goes on and on and on. I'm not continuing because I have just seen my LCM and there's no need continuing further. The common, so we've listed the multiples. The common multiples of what we've listed so far are 6, and I think 6 alone. Assuming we were to continue, there will be 12, 18, and the rest. But we ended at 6. So 6 is the common multiple. And then the lowest among all these common multiples is what? 6 as well. So if our LCM is 6, how then do we add the fractions? So we write our 6, and then we now come back to our question. So let me quickly write that here so we can work with them. So we had 2 over 3 plus 5 over 6. And we want to what? Add. So as we have found out, our LCM is 6. So if our LCM is 6, we now ask ourselves, 6 divided by 3 or 3 divided 6, how many times? You can quickly do it in one section. So let's say 6 divided by 3, you're going to get 2. Easy. So that 2 you have, you use it to multiply the numerator you have here. So we have 2 times 2. Then plus, we now come here again. This 6 here, how many times does it divide this 6 here? We mean 6 divided by 6. And what is that going to give you? You are going to get 1. So you multiply this 1 by the numerator you have over here. That is 1 times 5. Then you now perform your operation. So as you have seen, we have followed the steps. We found the LCM. We have converted all the fractions into their equivalent forms. You see? And then we now want to perform our operation. So 2 times 2 here gives us what? It gives us a 4 plus 1 times 5 gives us 5, and they are all over 6. Mind you, what we have written here is actually a simplified form of these two equivalent fractions. That is 4 over 6 plus 5 over 6. You see, since they both have the 6, that is why we have just chosen to use this line for them both. But this is actually what it means over here. You see, hence, if we are adding like fractions, they have now become like fractions. If we are adding like fractions, we just add the numerators. So 4 plus 6 gives us a 9, and then we have our 9 over 6. As simple as that. And that becomes our answer. But remember our instructions. It says we should simplify if possible. So you ask yourself, what do we have over here? Is it possible we can simplify? Yes, it is. If you want to divide each and every side by 3, that would work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both numerator and then denominator by what? 3. So that 3 divides 6, how many times? I have my 3. And 3 divides 9, how many times? So that 3 divides 6, how many times? Twice. And 3 divides 9, thrice. So I have 3 over 2. You see? So 3 over 2 can also be written as what? Mixed fraction. That is 2 whole number, 1 over 2. So this is how we add and subtract fractions. As simple as that. What are the instructions? First of all, if the denominators are not the same, look for the LCM, and that is what is going to help you make these denominators the same. If you get your LCM, all you should do is to rewrite your fractions you have been given with respect to your LCM. That is, they should both be over the LCM, or in other words, you are writing equivalent forms of the fractions. After that, you would perform your operation, and that is that. So let's take another example and see how we are going to go about it. In this question here, we have to subtract 7 over 8 from 5 over 6. It means we are removing 7 over 8 from 5 over 6. So our solution, how do we do that? What this means is you have 5 over 6 minus 7 over 8. You are subtracting this from this. That is how we convert it into what? An equation. So let's evaluate and see. The first step says you should look for our LCM. This time around, we are not going to write all the multiples. I believe you should be able to look for all those LCM yourselves. So 6 and 6 and 8. What is their lowest common multiple? That is 24. Their lowest common multiple is 24. So we have our 24 here. And then we ask ourselves, 6 divides 24 how many times? Or 24 divided by 6. That gives us a 4. 4 times 5 gives us 20. You see, I'm taking that again. 6. This 6 we have over here. This one. It divides 24, the number 4 times. Because 6 times 4 gives us 24. Do you see? So the 4 we have now, we are going to use it to multiply this over here, this 5. 4 times 5 gives us 20, hence we have written our 20 there. Then minus, not forgetting our sign, minus 8 divides 24, how many times? That is going to give us a 3. So the 3 multiplies 7, this 7 here. 3 times 7 gives us what? A 21. I'm taking that again. 24 here divided by 8, that is 3. The 3 multiplies this 7 to give us 21. That is what we have. Then 20 minus 21 gives us negative 1 over what? 24. So we have, our answer here is actually a negative fraction. So negative 1 over 24. And that is our answer. All right. Now let's pick another example. This time around, I'll write it. Take your time and pause the video. Pause it and try and do it on your own to test your understanding. So we have add 1 over 3, 1 over 4, and 1 over 2. Okay, so let's look at our solution. If you paused and you're able to do it, big ups to you. So our solution, we have 1 over 3, and we are adding it to 1 over 4, and also adding it to 1 over 2. So for 3, 4, and 2, what is their LCM? Their LCM is definitely 12. If you got that, well done. So our LCM is 12. Then we start our whole process again. So we ask ourselves, 12 divided by 3 gives us what? 4. 4 times 1 gives us a 4 here. Then 12 divided by 4 gives us 3. The 3 multiplies this numerator. So we have plus 3. 12 divided by 2 gives us 6. 6 times 1 gives us a 6. So we have 4 plus 3 plus 6, which gives us a 13. So we have 13 over 12. 13 over 12 in mixed fraction, we know gives us what? One whole number, 1 over 12. Right? So this here is our result when we perform these operations. This is how far we are going to treat this topic. Let me give some exercises so you try on your own. And then in our next video, we'll be looking at addition and subtraction of mixed fractions. Addition and subtraction of mixed fractions. What have we spoken about here? We have looked at how to add fractions, and we said if you want to add your fractions, follow these steps. First of all, change your fractions to look alike. That is, they should all have a denominator which is equal to their LCM. After which, what do? You perform the operations. All right, so that is that. Now, always simplify your final answer. Always simplify your final answer. And you should also be careful when there are negative signs, especially when you are working with subtraction. Be careful of that. So here are some questions you can try on your own. So these are some examples or questions you can try on your own. See you in the next video where we'll be looking at addition and subtraction of mixed fractions. If this video was helpful, kindly choose to subscribe. Stay tuned for our next video. Stay safe.